hello everybody, and welcome to Dicing with Death again. So, Zwiehard, you have been recalled to your family's home just outside of Tharnham in what we've been calling, what is it, Black Steel Keep?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, so...
You have traveled a great distance. You had to take a boat ride. It's death-defying. It's the worst moment of your life, probably.
Twice. Boat ride there and back.
How does anyone survive?
I don't know. Oops.
And you have come back to your family's little keep. Let's make sure that's not going to be too loud. This is a loud track.
So I probably took a boat into Keldaram, right?
Yeah.
And then is the keep like north of Tharnham, or
I think it's northeast.
Maybe with a little X on
Yes.
on the map. Or do you want me to do that?
Let us mark it.
Okay.
I think Black Steel Keep is right here in black.
Right. So maybe I didn't even go to Tharnham, right? I probably dragged my my goat overland, probably 20 miles. That probably took me like a week.
Yep. It's a long,
or less, maybe like
arduous
5
journey.
days.
Using systems of tunnels and hideouts and old abandoned mines to avoid potential monster threats. Because there's some griffins that live in this area, and there's some wild griffins, and the wild griffins aren't super friendly, but you've got a goat instead of a horse, so whew, you're lucky.
Yeah, no, these griffins don't want my stringy ass goat. That's why there's the superior pack animal. Let me see how much a goat costs to keep alive, and I'll just pay it for the year or something. 15 copper times 12 is 180 copper, so 1.8 gold.
Yeah.
7, 2 silver. All right, so just so I'm just not even going to worry about it. There's a goat, and there's goat food, and he can eat trash on the side of the road. Goat food. I probably need my own rations that cost money, right? What is this, Frofro?
It's hard to get out of the Frofro economics.
It's good habits, right? What do rations cost, do you know? I know we said we'd be done with the spreadsheets and dragons, but I lied.
I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm opening the sheet.
Don't even worry about it. We'll do it later.
Okay.
All right. So
20
here
copper
I
a day.
come. What kind? 20 copper a day. Cool. How do we want? Do you want to set the scene? What are we looking like heading back into Black Steel Keep?
I think you're coming back into Black Steel Keep after 10 years away, and not much has changed here. There's still these palisade walls with big nasty spikes on the top of them, and two turrets. I think your wall is built like built into a hill, so it's kind of like cliff face, wall, little village, and a mine. Oh, wow, this is a really intense track.
I think the keep is probably not at the mine, right? I think that there's 5 mines within the however many square miles of this property.
You don't think the keep is next to one of the mines?
I think you're right. So there's probably a palisade wall with a mine and a keep built into the side of this hill. And then on and into the hill, and the mine probably goes in and underground.
Yeah. So I think you're coming back in, and you see the wall is much the same as you left it. Things change very slowly in the Dwarven lands, so it's all the same. Maybe like one of the two or the palisade sections have been replaced. You can recognize the more recent carving of wood there. At the gate, the dwarves there, even though they haven't seen you in a decade, know who you are as you show up, and they open the gates for you immediately.
Would I be traveling alone?
Yes.
Okay. But they're expecting me, and Okay, here comes
Yeah.
a dwarf with a...
Yeah,
Yeah,
they recognize your face. It's been a decade, but dwarves are long-lived, and they've got sharp memories like an elephant. So...
all right, so here I go. Zwiehard, returning home.
Yeah, you'll make your
Dragging
way...
this little goat on a string, laden with tower shield and arms.
The goat struggles
then
under
we
the
head-
weight, but faithfully follows you.
And then we head into the keep. I think
Yes.
probably smoke and soot billowing overhead.
It's dark. The ceiling is sort of obscured by the thick clouds, and the layers of soot that have been caked on it hide any sort of decorations that might have once been up there. And you find your father, the patriarch, Einhard, and next to him is your eldest brother, Einhard Jr., or maybe like Einhard the 34th or something.
You would never call a dwarf junior. He's Einhard, son of Einhard.
Yes. Einhard, son of Einhard, is next to Einhard.
Or maybe, yeah. Okay.
And there, beside them, kind of in a semicircle, are your other brothers and sisters and cousins that are all below you in age and rank. Your middle...
So did we just confirm it here? There are female dwarves, and they're present around the
There are
around the
female
family table?
dwarves. You all don't hatch from eggs. Yeah.
Do they have beards?
That's the whole reason that I had dwarves hatch from eggs, is so I could only have male dwarves, so I wouldn't have to wonder if female dwarves have beards, because that question kept me up at night.
So I mean, so my sister's here,
Your sister's here.
so confirmed. But does she have a beard?
Maybe? I don't... What do you think? Do female dwarves have beards, Ryan?
You're the DM.
No. They don't.
Could they? I mean, some probably do.
I think they have, like,
But-
fuzzy cheek whiskers, but it's not like a full-fledged beard. You know?
Sideburns or something, like just like long stringy side hairs that sticks out from under their helms.
Yeah, okay.
All right, glad we kept a serious face on to set the mood.
Yeah, yeah. So your father, Einhard, also son of Einhard, but a different Einhard, sees you approach and sitting in his very comfortable chair made out of coal, which blackens his clothes as he sits down in them, looks over at you and says, Zwiehard, my son, show me what you have made.
Oh, Father, it pleases me to see you after these years. I take a knee and we didn't actually roll the weapons. I didn't make, did I?
No.
I think I've got my helm would have been off and tucked under whatever under an arm, and I present that to him.
Mm-hmm. He'll take a look at the helm, turn it over a few times, giving it a good inspection.
Yeah, and then I guess presentation of the shield.
Mm-hmm. He looks over the shields.
The goat's probably not here, right?
I think the goat hauled all your crap in and is now just like standing in the corner of the
I
room.
walk straight to the family dinner table with.
Yeah.
All right. I think so. Yeah, unload the goat and I proceed to feasting. Right, there's probably like a roast pig laid out. Yeah.
So your father inspects your armor as the table is being prepped, and kind of nodding in approval, especially at your helm. Kind of taps it and says, "This is fine work. You'll do the Blacksteels proud. Eventually, you're on the right path, my son." However, I've recalled you.
Why have you called me home early, Father?
By my calculations, it is your 55th birthday soon. And, or maybe it's just past. Anyway, it is time for the Blacksteel coming of age. ceremony, ritual event. I'm sure you remember when your older brother did such a thing, and it is time for you to do the same.
I look nervously around the room. Do I remember what is Zwiehard there?
Zwiehard's there.
Zwiehard's there at Zwiehard's side, right?
Yeah. So you're. You were pretty young.
Insert flashback.
Yeah, you were pretty young, but you remember that your brother disappeared for a couple of months once, and like went off into the hills, and then came back some months later with some new equipment that he had gone out and forged by himself in the hills around your keep.
Does that every dwarf does that, or every dwarven noble?
Yeah,
is a craftsman.
The people in the leadership caste must do this. Your other regular day-to-day dwarves have their own sort of coming-of-age ceremonies, and it's a little bit different for each dwarf depending on your role in society. But you guys, as the ruling clan, or the heads of your clan, are expected to do something a little bit more grandiose and a little bit more dangerous. I think you probably, once upon a time, had 3 older siblings, and one of them went out and just never came back, and just like disappeared into the hills during this coming of age ceremony. Yeah.
Okay. I kind of figured I was the black sheep off at Dwarf Academy, but
perhaps. Maybe none of the other ones went to Dwarf Academy. Your older siblings were all too busy learning how to rule and how to lead and how to do these other things, and you're kind of you were originally the 4th in line, so they're like, I don't know, send them to Dwarf Academy. You know?
Second in line.
Second in line? Okay.
I think so. I don't know. That was my plan, but
okay, you're second in line.
You're in charge here. Who's in charge here?
Chat's in charge here.
Chat's in charge.
Run for the hills. So as the feasting goes on for a little while, your father gets up at some point, gives a loud belch, which is the typical dwarven way of getting everyone's attention, and says, Zwiehard, tomorrow morning, I expect you to go off into the hills and not return home until you have crafted from scratch with your bare hands something truly worthy of the Black Steel name. None of this at the academy, having someone else help you forge and smelt and bringing you supplies. No, you must go out, mine your own coal, find or create your own forge, your own crucible, make your own tools, and not come back until you've crafted something truly magnificent. Only when you've done that will you become a true Black Steel.
Am I getting kicked out? Is that what's happening?
I mean, it's pretty flowery language, but it's something that your older brother did, and your father did, and his father before him, and you know.
What's Zwiehard doing back home with if he's gone out and made his own fort? Is there just like a hillside pockmarked with little dwarf chimneys from all the dwarf nobles all the generations of dwarf nobles that have to go out and make their own?
Sort of.
Or do
you know from your older brother doing this that when he went out, he found an old abandoned dwarven village that was lost, 100 years ago or 200 years ago or whatever, and found an old forge in there and kind of brought it up to speed and repaired it. So you're not going to have to. You'll probably be able to find some village or something to work out of.
Yeah. Okay.
These hills are pockmarked with ruins.
There's formalities, and we would have been we feast, right? Floors always feast. We carb load for the adventure ahead. But I don't think any of this is I feel like this is not what I expected as a player. But so I think we'll just skip to the next day,
Well,
unless there's stuff to do, right?
Nope,
it seems like, yeah.
That's it. We'll skip to the next day. Your feasting is over.
And I'll trek out into the hills, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I expected to have been called back for more urgent tidings. Maybe even Zwiehard himself did. I mean, so it's kind of like I've been in an academy. I made this this chain. What's he even? So begrudgingly, trudgingly into the hills, dragging Goat behind.
What is your goat's name?
I think I just call it Goat, right?
Goat.
Okay.
Goat comes with you, and we need like a little dwarf token so we know where you are. Let me get you a little dwarf. Oh, this is pretty sweet.
Oh,
how's that gonna work? Is that gonna be okay? Is that dwarf enough? We can get you something better.
That's fine. There's no cousin Balrog. Oh, whoa. Probably one with an axe and a helm. Yeah. That one's got maybe the one swinging. Yeah, that one there. The one on the right.
Yeah, all right.
That's it.
That's it. All right. So you're going to head out from Dwarf Keep. And why don't you tell me, move yourself, which way do you want to go, buddy? Where do you want to explore in the hills?
I was thinking like generally this way is where where I may happen across something. I don't think I really have a destination at this point. I'm a little
sure. As you
so I will head northeast and trudge along.
As you set off, you think back upon the things that you've learned about the world around you. It's been some time since you've been here, but you're still familiar with... Where the fuck is my... Where the fuck is... Ah, here it is. You reflect back on the things that you've learned about these hills and what sort of things you might be able to expect. You know firsthand that the hills are home to many monsters. Generally, there are a few families of cyclops that live in the hills. They stay away from the edges and stay away from the flatlands, and they're sort of like the apex monster or predator in this region. Just big, ugly, mean cyclopses. They more or less keep to themselves and less bothered. They find themselves superior to all other things. Aside from that, the hills are sort of divided between hobgoblins on the west side and orcs on the east side. These creatures are pretty dangerous. The hobgoblins, their territory ends kind of over here-ish. They don't get too close to Tharnam and Kel'Thuzran. There's just too many dwarves. So they're kind of like in this region. While the orcs have the similar thing, but they don't get too close to Milfaldur because, too many dwarves. So those are like the big monsters that are in this area. So you'll be walking through combination hobgoblin and cyclops territory. If that helps you out.
Yeah, a little bit of a retroactive flavor text. We totally use, or at least Zwiehard uses the giant's hair to like trim the helm. So there's like a plume of giant's hair.
Nice.
So there's that spell component.
Perfect.
Built in. Don't even need to worry about it.
So
cyclops are giant, right?
They are. They're very
so
giant.
So if I ever need to refill my my supply, we'll go pluck some forearm hairs off of the cyclops.
In the far north, in this Hemdarkos Valley area, right where you're drawing your line to, that place is sort of like creepy living plants and trees. That area is like filled with treants and all sorts of other like living monstrous. There? No, not that you're aware of. There's always rumors that elves are over there, but no one's ever seen an elf. but that's just because they're really good at hiding. But there are tree ants and carnivorous plants, and that whole valley is just like alive with things that might eat you, but you can't tell what are the things that are going to eat you. So it's almost a no-go zone, but not quite. So move yourself some 10 miles or something. Maybe not quite 10 miles, 12 miles. Move yourself like 6 miles in whichever direction you want to go.
Yeah, I don't have control of the token.
That is a true thing. Controlled by all players. Go for it.
Cool. 10 miles, you say?
Yeah, up to 10 miles.
Yeah, so I think we'll head up into this little valley here.
All right. So your first day out, you are heading towards that valley. And on your way, as you're cresting one hill and starting to look down into a valley, you see what looks to be 2 hobgoblins. They're standing over a corpse. One of the hobgoblins has kind of got its head up and is looking around. The other one is maybe kneeling down and kind of rifling through over this body, this much smaller body. I think you're up on a hill, maybe 200 feet away, looking down on these hobgoblins.
Can I make out what the what the body is?
Give me a perception check.
Perception check.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I put my helmet on in order to perceive better. Does that give me a -2 to
which helm do you have?
A full helm? Yeah, I can't see shit.
Yeah, that's not gonna work for you. Shields, helms. There we go. A great helm. -3 penalty to vision checks.
Oh, -3.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
yeah.
you're
So to get a better look at the hobgoblins, I pull my my helm down, sort of squint from the top of this hill. The goat has a tower shield mounted like on one of its flanks.
So it's carrying it vertically?
Horizontal, like long ways down the length of the goat.
Okay, got it.
So if you look at the goat from one side, it's just a tower shield turned
with
over
little
with
legs on it,
goat feet underneath. Yeah.
Okay.
And
is it being carried by a goat? Is it being carried by 2 satyrs? You'll never know.
And that's on my left side. So I think I go to grab unhook the halberd from the goat.
It doesn't look like the hobgoblins.
What's the policy on hobgoblins around these parts? Is it a kill on sight? Is it open season?
Oh, it is open season. Hobgoblins are a huge threat and menace to you. They constantly are, like, the reason you have spiked walls is because hobgoblins. So they are sort of your sworn enemies at this point. And there's 2 of these little suckers there. Usually they travel in larger groups, so for 2 to be off by themselves is a little bit unusual. That also makes them easier pickings for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they appear to have ranged weapons?
One of them is carrying, the one that's looking around has a spear and a small buckler shield. The other one seems to have some sort of like large 2-handed weapon that is just resting beside him on the ground.
You said a spear?
Yeah. So
okay.
It's a one-shot ranged weapon.
Okay, so I take that minute or so to assess the situation. And I think wanting to get a better look at the at the corpse, figure out what's going on here. I will naturally call the hobgoblin's attention.
How do you call their attention?
Gentlemen, what's the meaning of this? I holler into the valley below, setting my whatever. Yeah, probably that's what would come most naturally.
Okay.
So I think I want to taunt them over and get my halberd at the ready on the other side of goat. Sure.
They see you when you call out to them and confer amongst themselves for a moment.
Oi, you sissies! In Nillies! Come up here! Get a piece of me.
And they start marching up the hill towards you. The one with the small shield and the spear coming slightly to your left. The one with what appears to be a two-handed axe going slightly to your right. And you're getting the feeling they're coming around to pincer you. And I think at this point, we roll initiative.
How far are they?
Like 200 feet.
All right. Oh, here's my spells. Probably should have blessed before combat, but I guess okay. 40 yards. All right, so let's roll initiative then, I guess.
Yes.
There was no initiative macro in this, right? Just
no.
It.
Yeah.
11. Let me look up what my bonuses versus hobgoblins. I get a +1 to hit.
All right. So they go at 10 and 11, respectively.
Oh no!
And
they beat me to the punch. So yeah.
So the one with the spear starts coming towards your left side. I think I said. And
so okay. So previously I had planned on being like readied with the halberd. But I went to start praying.
Right.
Are my prayer? How does that? Do I still get a readied action off, or have I as the prayer superseded being ready with the halberd?
Prayer supersedes. You're caught mid-prayer when they close.
Yeah, so I don't get the opportunity attack when they come within my reach.
Correct.
No, but I'm still ready with this weapon, right?
But I think that if you take your opportunity attack, you would interrupt your spell casting.
But it's between. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right. So you can choose to take the opportunity attack, but lose the spell casting.
Yeah, I think I get caught unawares mid-prayer.
Sure. So the spearman gets to the top, gets towards the hill and comes at you with a 11 to hit.
Which side is he coming from?
Your left side.
So there's a goat with a tower shield between him and me.
Okay. So yeah, he's a tall hobgoblin, so he's trying to stand over the goat and stab down onto you.
But I still think he can't get within. I mean, he can. Yeah, or he can circle around said goat. Or I mean, I think it's an awkward. I mean, we're not playing with the battle map or anything, right? But he's got to like get around and.
You have an interposing goat shield, and I think 11 is going to be a miss with that, right? Because your AC is 10 plus the shield. Right?
No, I'm probably not even shielded right now. I mean, So is he attacking me or the goat?
He's trying to attack you. He's ignoring the goat. Yeah. Okay. So with the shield goat in your way, probably doesn't give you full AC bonuses. It probably gives you half, but that's still 12 AC. So the 11 is a swing and a miss.
Partial cover or something.
Right.
Okay.
And then you tie with the other guy, with the battle axe guy. So why don't you attack at the same time? Why don't you cast your spell at the same time he attacks?
So I was I'm burning a sun scorch. So like I think the light overhead just it glances off of my shield just right, or maybe the tip of my like holy symbol, the hammer or whatever. It's like bings off of it and like into his eyes. Ah! He's got to roll a saving throw.
Yes. He makes a saving throw and rolls a 3. Not so good for Mr. Hobgoblin.
So I think that'll be D6 plus 2 damage.
Oh my.
8.
Wow.
So is he just like blinded to death?
I think there's like a slight parting of the clouds momentarily, and a beam of sunshine comes down and like hits him in the face, and all Raiders of the Lost Ark, like his face just kind of melts and just drips down, revealing just a bone, and then he topples to the ground. leaving his companion a little surprised. But of course, this goes off at the same time that he gets his attack off, since you guys tied in initiative. So his two-handed axe swings into you with a natural 1, going well over your head, maybe clipping the giant's hair a little bit. And then his face melts and he dies. Leaving you with the one other hobgoblin, the spear and shield guy. And we'll roll initiative with that. He goes at 14.
Yeah. 13, just barely. So I hoist my, unhook my battle axe from my waist. Plus, I had +1 to hit. On top of my +1 for level, so 12. I assume he's not dexterous.
He is not dexterous. 12 will hit him.
5 points of damage.
Not quite killing him, unfortunately.
Is my buckler... Can I have my buckler strapped to me at all? I already said I fastened it, right? And I can just ignore the AC bonuses if I need to wield a two-handed weapon or something.
Right.
So I actually get a free buckler punch.
Ooh, go for it.
Due to my proficiency, which will also be a +2 for a 17.
That'll hit.
I think that deals D4.
Sure, that sounds right.
Might be in... Ooh, only 1.
All right, so you hack into him.
Total of 6 points of damage.
Yeah, and then you bop him a little bit.
Can I glance down the hill and see what they were? Get a better look, a clearer look at the body, or is it is till after combat?
It is a smaller than human-sized body. The exact race and details will have to be left until after combat. Yeah. All right. The hobgoblin returns a strike. This is the guy with the spear, and rolls at 15 to hit you, which will hit.
Yeah.
And his spear will do 2d4. It rolls a 5 on the damage, but your armor will reduce piercing damage by 3 points. So instead of doing 5, you just take 2.
Okay. So how should I don't know any of this armor reduces by how much. Is this a table you're looking at, or are you just memorizing this?
It's a table. Let me...
Can you maybe share that with me?
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
So I take 2 damage.
Where the fuck did that table go? Ah, here we go. This is an awkward way to share. I don't know if this is going to come through. I'll need to put this in like a proper document somewhere. I know that's comes out pretty ugly because of the Discord formatting. Let's see if I can make it look a little prettier for us.
That's fine. All right, so next round initiative?
Yes. I'm almost done prettifying it, so I'm just gonna make it work. There. That looks better. Next round initiative. The hobgoblin rolls a 1 and 6 is 7 with his spear.
Is a miss.
No, that's an initiative.
Oh, it's initiative. Okay.
Yeah. +6 to hit for the hobgoblin. What do you roll?
Right, 6.
You go first.
And I slash. And so 7 damage with the battle axe.
That will bring the hobgoblin down. Just a big axe to the center of the chest. You hear the ribs cracking underneath, and the hobgoblin sinks to his knees and falls backwards onto the dusty ground.
Remaining attacks to air punch and swing my battle axe wildly. Mm-hmm. Can't quite see through the helm if the battle's over.
Right.
All right, and then a calm befalls the battlefield.
Mm-hmm.
And I rush down the hill to see what this corpse was.
It is a halfling. Halfling dressed in the hold on, wait. In the blue, gold, and silver robes of a cleric of Seor. Face down on the ground, you can see that his robes have been pulled aside and that his belongings have been rifled through. They're all kind of laying out on the ground. There's a bunch of like halfling food and wine on one side of him, some coins on the other side, a couple of trinkets here and there, and a small ball, maybe the size of this D20, of a bluish material, a bluish metal.
Yeah, so I look to the sky, having just seen this beam of divine light melt orc face, and now here this cleric of Seor, fallen brother. It seems tad much to be a coincidence. So I guess let's do a full... I don't know what the respectful way to... He's clearly dead.
Oh, super dead. His body looks a little bit rotten. He's probably been here a few days. It doesn't look like the hobgoblins killed him.
So I guess I'll do a pat down and like prepare. I'm not a undertaker or anything. But
yeah, as you're examining this body, you see there's like a hole in his back and like a large welt that looks like a stinger from a giant scorpion or something. That like got him in the back, and
what's he doing out here? You say he's got traveling supplies and stuff, so I think I'll pick up his like backpack and rifle through that. You said, let me
the hobgoblins they've already like emptied out his stuff and we're sort of like separating it and spreading it apart.
And have they like eaten his food and drunk his wine?
They were in the middle of rifling through his belongings, hadn't quite done anything with it yet. So the food is all carefully laid out on one side and the valuables laid on the other. And
seems odd timing, perhaps as if I triggered this encounter by coming here. All right, so is it salvage? Like, should I take his wine? The orcs didn't get to it. It's not tainted. I'll like uncork it and give it a sniff.
It smells floral, kind of like a mix between flowers and honey.
It's probably holy water. So I'm gonna write down holy halfling. Well, I guess not everything can be holy. Halfling wine. What's that? A couple pounds. And you said food? He had rations?
He had rations. Well. Yeah, it's like lamb stuffed into bread. So you've got like this sort of flat bread with layers of lamb in between it and a little bit of basil and some rosemary.
Is it still good?
It's a couple days old. It's a little stale, but it's probably fine.
I'll probably set that down for now. What else did you see? Okay, so there's the obvious adamantium orb or whatever is rolling around on the grass. It's dry, dusty hills?
Dry, dusty hills.
So down in the dirt. All right, so I lean down into the dirt and pick up
what looks to be a very light metallic ball. It's probably, as an armor smither you would know, made of mithril. An extremely rare metal. Yeah.
Is mithril a noble metal? The noblest? Is that the idea? It's like it's an element.
Yes.
Or something, but not a natural element.
It is it's as natural as anything can be in a world with magic and gods. But it is a semi-magical metal as well.
About how much of it? I guess I look at. Is this like a?
It's about yay much.
I mean, can I get a weight?
It's a 1-inch sphere that has the quarter density of copper. So I don't know.
Or how do we want to try? I mean, it's clearly valuable, right? How do we track valuables such as this? Mithril ball.
Just put mithril ball. I'll get you a weight for it in a minute.
Okay. Is it a perfect sphere? Is it like looks like it was made into a sphere, or is it just
it looks like it was made into a sphere. It's got like little dents on it. It's not perfectly smooth.
Yeah.
It looks like it's been worked and kind of like hammered into this ball.
Does it look like is this like an ornament in and of itself, or does it or is it just like a way to package and transport mithril?
It looks more like a way to package and transport. Yeah. Density of copper is 8.92 grams per cubic centimeter. How many cubic centimeters are there in a 1-inch sphere?
I'm not gonna do imperial to metric conversions for you. That is way below my pay grade, sir. Yeah. So let's do. Let's keep. I've got whatever. You can tell me the way later.
Sure.
Let's. What else did you say there was?
Food, rations. There were some coins that were on the ground as well. There's like 60 copper coins, 30 silver coins, and 2 gold coins.
I think I'd pick up his purse or whatever, and I'll keep it together for now.
There's a water skin, which you already have. There's a small knife. There's a holy symbol of Seor. It's not your like the hammer that you've got. It's a halfling version of a holy symbol. It's actually just like an amulet.
Yeah. I look at his hands. Does he look like a smith, or is
no?
he...
His hands are soft with some like recent calluses and scratches on them, but otherwise quite tender.
And his feet, are they still intact?
They're as dirty and calloused as any halflings. Yeah.
But he wasn't killed for his twinkly little toes.
He was not killed for his twinkle toes, no.
I guess I look around. I'm trying to sort out who this guy was, where he was going.
Yeah,
is he really a priest of Seor? And
give me a perception check.
I guess if he's like a mithril transporter, yeah, I'll take my helmet off at this point. Look around. 23.
As you're looking through his bag, you notice that the inside of it is like it's a leather backpack, and it's painted or tattooed or somehow stitched with some colors on the inside of his backpack. Can
I guess he's got that knife over there. I don't I'll go use his knife to like cut into the backpack and see if there's like an inner layer. Or before I cut, I want to make sure I understood you properly. It sounded like you were describing a secret compartment, but are you saying?
No, I'm saying
or is there ornamentation?
There's ornamentation on the inside of the backpack.
Can I invert it?
You may.
So I put the knife down and I
you flip the backpack inside out.
Turn the backpack inside out. Yeah.
It is a map that has been painted or tattooed into the inside of the backpack. The map.
I give it a sniff. What is this? What is this made out of?
It's made out of probably cowhide or something.
Or something.
Yeah, it is a map of a valley in the hills. And there is the holy symbol of Seor with the 3 little spirals coming off of the center, marked at the center of this one like valley. And then down to the far south of the map is a river that comes off of it. You don't speak halfling, do you?
Nope.
No. So there's some halfling words inscribed
I didn't even realize
at
they
the
had
bottom.
their own language. I think they've just got their little chicken scratch that don't make any sense. How much does that halfling weigh? 50 pounds seem fair? Or
Yeah.
Too much.
That sounds fine.
So I hoist the body onto the goat and gather up the rest to look around, make sure I'm not forgetting anything. And I guess we're going to try to head. Does the valley look like the Hinderkost Valley, or could it be somewhere, or is it something smaller and more specific?
It's probably not the Hemderkost Valley, because the south side of it has a river, flatlands, and the north side of it has hills. So, where do you think that might be?
I'm gonna need the description again if I'm gonna have to guess based on that. So
there's a
Zwiehard
river.
is gonna sit. This is the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna make a fire here.
Okay.
I guess I don't have any firewood.
It's light chaparral everywhere. You can
And
just
I'm not
rip
gonna-
up some plants.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna dull my battle axe chopping lumber. But I'll make whatever camp I can. What's the weather like here in the Himderkos Hills? Is it
Partially
hot,
cloudy,
dry?
hot, dry. Sometimes no wind, sometimes 20 or 30 mile an hour gusts. It's not always a pleasant area to be hiking around. There's very little shade. Most of the plants only come up to like dwarf chest height, so you're out in the beating sun the entire time.
Yeah, in hot armor. All right, so I sit down and have a rest. Pour some spirits to this fallen brother and see if I can work out where this map is to. So I don't know if you want to give me a description again, or like doodle it, or have me, yeah.
Yeah, I'm making you a doodle right now. Whoops.
Is that a happy face?
Is not a happy face. Not intentionally, at least. So we've got some la 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 la. Let's bring this over to view better. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? I lost my map. There we go. Okay. La la la. So you've got these like hills kind of all over this map. And then you've got this marking of kind of a valley. And then the sigil of Seor is within that, which somehow
So
I've
just
also
a
lost.
hammer.
No, different people have different sigils for them. This is more of it's a swirly thingy. It's like a, and then a, whoops, this goes all the way to there, and then a, it's these like three swirly things that all meet in the center. And then the hills keep going like this. This is the and there's a river that comes like this, and there's some text that you can't read next to the river.
Okay. Do we want to go back to the map page?
Yes.
Can I look at the map page for a second? And some text in halfling. What do you think, goat? So I'm thinking it might be this bit south of the Himderkos Hills. Maybe way over here. So I think we're gonna rest up for the night and then probably head over and see if we can find a valley in this region. Really gonna need to figure out this whole camping business.
Well,
So I guess I hunker down for the night. I pull my cloak over my head.
Yeah. It's
Do I need to get a tent? Are we?
It's hot and dry during the day and cold and dry at night. It rarely rains out here. So you don't really have to worry about blocking the rain out, but you are going to have to just worry about keeping warm. But you got a tower shield you can rest over you to help insulate you.
Oh, that's right.
And a goat that you can cuddle up with.
Adventuring life. All right. So I sleep as best I can.
You do.
Bed down for the night and resume travel in the morning.
Yeah. So go ahead and give us another 10-ish miles of movement.
Yeah.
Probably a little less than 10, actually. If you're a dwarf and you only have movement rate 6. Means you can go 12 miles a day in normal terrain, So you can probably actually only go like 8 a day or something in hills.
Yeah, I can like cut between hills.
Yeah.
So I get somewhere like there.
Yeah, that next day is also pretty uneventful. You're just hiking through the hills. You do spot a giant scorpion on a hill like a half mile away, but it's just kind of cruising along in a different direction than you are. But there are dangerous creatures about. And keep on moving. The third day of travel.
All right. I guess same routine. I mean, we sleep fitfully at the night, and travel as often as we can. What time of year is it?
It is. It is late autumn.
Okay.
The year is 1509.
All right. Another day, another 10 miles.
Another day, another 10-ish miles.
So I guess we're gonna try and find a hill up in this way and see if we can like get a view and spot any valleys with holy symbols inscribed in the bottom of them.
Give me a perception check as you are hiking through that day, searching for valleys with holy symbols.
Yeah. When I get to the top of the hill, I take my helm off and like rest for a moment and look out and see nothing but ordinary hills and ordinary valleys.
Yep, it's just a empty, desolate land with small bushes here and there, and the sun beating down and caking everything to a nice warm glow.
That halfling's really starting to smell. Do I have any spells I can use to like? Is there an actual ritual that I know? Purify food and drink I do have. So I think by the second morning, let's see. No materials. Okay, so I can just memorize this instead of Sun Scorch, or pray for this instead of Sun. So I think there's a ritual that I know. Purify food and drink ritual.
Are you going to try and purify the halfling? Is the halfling considered food and drink?
Is he less than two cubic feet? For sure, right? Curl up in the fetal position, absolutely, right?
Yes.
2 cubic feet. Or I can at least do him in pieces. We'll start with his head. So I think I sprinkle holy whatever on him, like do say something respectful. I mean, we dwarves aren't good with words, but blessed be, may you return to the Creator. From sparks are made, sparks you return, and I like splash the whiskey at him and see if I can purify his flesh to at least keep the smell down a bit.
The decay sort of slows or stops, and the smell sort of leaves a little bit.
But I guess still I guess that was a blessed well as well. So a full 2-round ritual. So I do what I can to keep the body from getting too rank.
Yeah.
And I think periodically I'm looking back at this map and trying to make more sense of it or decipher the symbols. I mean, I don't expect to find anything new, but
give me another day of movement and another perception check.
Yeah, and I guess I pray in the morning. I mean, dwarven prayer is basically getting breakfast and getting your armor on and polishing it and humming to it and thinking through what you're gonna. Anyways, there's a lot of preparations, so it takes me about 20-30 minutes to get ready in the morning, depending on. So 10 miles, you say. So I'm hoping there's a valley somewhere in this area. So I think I'm gonna cut generally like this way, and try and get a vantage and see if I can spot any conspicuous looking valleys.
Give me that perception check.
Or I guess anything of interest. Or if I found anything of interest on the halfling. Nope. Ordinary hills and ordinary valleys. So I think I wind up camping on this ridge here or something that night. Probably planning to head up this way
Okay.
in the morrow.
So I'm just going to roll a series of encounter checks so I know when the next encounter is, and then we
Sure.
can kind of just blaze through the days, and you can keep moving and making checks until something happens. All right, so I know when our next random encounter is, so just keep making checks and moving yourself around, looking for something.
Yeah. So my next plan, I think, so the next day I'm heading up to this valley here.
Okay.
Anything particular? So that's probably where I camped that night, in that little valley with those trees. Is there anything interesting there?
Give me that perception check first.
Nope.
God.
So I
you-
go stumbling blindly into the valley, down over my face.
Yeah. This valley has a small little lake in it. It's an unnamed little lake, and that's why there's all these trees growing around here. There doesn't seem to be any rivers or streams that are flowing that leads into the lake, although there are plenty of dry creek beds from whenever it does rain. And in here, in this little valley with trees, you do find an old ruined building. It's a stone building that looks like it was maybe a really tiny keep or something. Like, a keep is might be a too glorifying of a word. It's like a 20 by 20 stone wall that's maybe head height for you and collapsed, and not much else is around. The fireplace is still semi-intact, and it looks like it's been used sometime in the last week by something. But the walls will provide you shelter from the wind.
Yeah, I lead Goat around the water, pulling him away from it. No, don't drink that. Can't you see? This water is stagnant. And then I head into this keep. This is adequate. We'll camp here for the night. And I guess we bed down as we're used to. I'm going to delete some rations. Do I even have enough rations? What did I bring? 10 pounds? That's only like 5 days. What has this been? So I'm probably running out of rations. What did the halfling had some, but at this point, is his stuff getting stale? I mean,
It's
I guess
super stale, but that doesn't mean it's inedible.
I can do the purify food and drink and make it dwarf edible.
Yeah.
So I'll have eaten that as well.
Okay.
But we're getting down to it. I think I need to either find some food or something. Or we're eating goat. And all right, I think we'll head into the next day and the next break, unless you've got something real quick.
I do. So you wake up that next morning by this little lake, in this little spot, and as I think you're woken up by these sounds. You can hear voices speaking in Orcish, and they sound like they are approaching your area.
I think I'm probably scrambling to get up, looking around, going for the weapons.
I think you start throwing on your armor.
Of the keep. Yeah, I've been sleeping in a different place every night, so I get my bearings. I'm inside of the keep. Are the voices outside?
Voices are outside. The walls are pretty short, but you're still lower than they are. But you hear the voices. They're coming from the north side. The keep is on the west side of this lake, so they're coming northward from you, towards you.
Yeah, and, so I think I duck down behind the wall. Shh, go. And try to keep a low profile. I look around this keep. Do they live here? Is this lived in? Is there light of morning, or is it still the middle of the night?
Dawn is on the horizon. It's probably the sun has probably risen, but the hills are blocking it, so there's kind of that pale blue in the sky, and the far west is still dark and black. The east is starting to get light.
Do I have time to pull my mail on before they reach?
Your mail will take 1 minute, so yeah, you can start putting your mail on as the voices get louder. You don't speak Orcish, but you can hear one or two you can hear a yawning sound. It sounds like these are tired orcs that are headed probably to a place to rest for the morning. Must have been traveling all night. And we will deal with orcs when we come back from our break on the other side. See you soon.